the worst projects in county history, which one of the wonderful housing and community development employees, Alex Bolaños, has helped transform some of the worst buildings you could ever imagine. We had a not-for-profit that was running 16 buildings and was about to go bankrupt, and over 350 people would have lost their homes. And the county stepped in, bought those buildings. They're all old, they're almost all historic, and Mr. Bolaños took the bull by the horns and worked on every one of those individual beautiful historic structures, which was not fun because the windows leaked, the doors leaked, the floors were rotten, and there was mold everywhere. And but more importantly was how he treated the residents that lived there. And so, Alex, I want to give you a special thank you because I know you're only halfway through fixing these things. And so Nathan and I wanted to just recognize you for the hard work of the little projects, not always the big projects. So I just have a little token of thanks from me and our chairman and the mayor. So. And I see we have some of the folks, and I see we have some of the folks that help manage those buildings as well. So, Nathan, you want to come up and say hello, take a picture?
Congratulations. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Where do you want it? Yes, here. At the spot?
Yeah.
Okay, Alex, get in the middle. Nathan, get over here.
Get my good side now. Get my good side.
Me too, I don't know. Oh, we got the team. Okay. Come on.
Are we batted?
No, probably not.
All right.
There we go.
Yes. Thank you.
Ladies on this side, gentlemen on the other.
Definitely. Okay. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Sir, it's good to see you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. I haven't been this happy since yesterday.
All right, keep taking care of those folks.
Thank you, Commissioner Higgins. Nice presentation. As you all know, Senator Garcia's dad passed away, and I'd like to ask each and everyone to stand up and observe a moment of silence. In the name of our mayor, Board of County Commissioners, we'd like to express our deepest sympathies to Senator Garcia and his family. Let's observe a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, welcome again, everyone. I'd like to now open reasonable opportunity for the public to be heard. I do have some cards. When I call your name, please come forward. You have 2 minutes to speak. Start with your name and address for the records. Miss Tina Jacobs? She went outside. All right. Miss Caroline Umbit.
Hi, my name is Carolyn Umobit. I am a resident of Libby Square Development. It used to be Pork and Beans, but it's Libby Square now. It's a lot of few things that I want to mention. From the first start of the development, I have a lot of documents here that is not honored still as the development proceed to go. I'm currently in a unit that is not feasible for my daughter and I. I asked staff to relocate me. They're stating that it's impossible to do. If I call, I will be put out. It's just too many things going on. I rather look into a scatter site property for my sons and I and my daughter. Right now, I'm trying to create a feasible kid-friendly space for our neighborhood. When they finish the storefront, I want to do something with the neighborhood. So it's not that I want to leave the neighborhood. I want to help improve the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Umbit. All right. Miss Sharon Fraser? How did you know you were next?
Because I signed them up. Good evening or afternoon, Madam Chair, Honorable Commissioners, and Honorable Deputy Chief Morales. I come with a heavy heart because I was facing eviction. I did nothing. It was just that the fact they sold the property and I had to get out. I had a 60-day notice on my door, June the 4th. June 5th, I went to Libby Square Housing. My name is Sharon Fraser Stevens. I live at 6516 Northwest 12th Avenue, Miami, Florida, 33150. I went over there because my mom, that was she passed away at. I have family in Liberty Square and around that community. And I thought it was feasible for me to go. From the time I went over there to the leasing office, I was harassed. They didn't want me there. But I told them my tax dollars pay for that. The other thing was they knew for 3 years I gave volunteer service as the Community Concerns Advisory Committee, AKA Crime Watch. We talked with the Chief of Police, Rosie Cordero Stutz, and because of the Libby Square Concerned Citizen, we was told that 20% of the crime had dropped and the homicides because we was able to have the people to talk. They was using my venue as the tenant council. Tenant council was voted in last year, September. They were sworn in. I heard 2 months ago they had supposed to sign their bylaws. They are not. Someone who works for TRG should not be the tenant council president. How can you represent somebody on an advisory board and you work for that person? The tenants are upset. Madam Chair, I am, because there's some things in my unit. I feel like I was forced to sign a lease that was not explained to me, and I know how to read. So I'm asking PACD and their staff and Chief Morales, someone from this housing committee, to come to Liberty Square, because we need a community meeting, because it's a pot ready to boil over. Thank you so much. God bless you all.
Thank you, Ms. Fraser. Dylan Finger. Pardon me? Okay. Paulette Daron.
Good afternoon, everyone. Paulette Darrow, 2422 Northwest 12th Avenue, zip code 33142. I have some serious issues here. I live in public housing, Gwen Cherry Site, 291. I am a victim. This is a safe issue my living quarters has been compromised for many years, a total of 15 years. I've been patient. They continue to change the site managers, and every manager they have given me, they continue to attack me. But I continue to pray to God and ask for grace. The last one was last afternoon when I arrived to the apartment on the second steps, on the last steps upward. I always travel with my big basket. I had to move those packages to get up to the step. I call the police officers. I have my card. On the 26th of last month, I was attacked by 2 of their dogs on my ankles. And I also have within my circumference, I have the junction that I gave on the resident. And I also have here the resident at 2414. She always said these words. She even put nasty pads on the steps. I clean them up 24/6, and even bowel movements, I have to clean them up. Trash on the steps, I clean them up. And every time I walk through trying to get to my apartments, water everywhere. I live with a serious medical condition. I always wear this. I was hit with a bat. The doctor had to even increase my medication. God see it as well. But I continue to hold on and hold my head up and pray. I'm praying that one of the staff member, my commissioners, will work with me. And through it all, I know we will do it. Also, I tried to get resident council to work so we can better the neighborhood. I tried.
Thank you, Ms. Darrow. Roy Hardeman.
Good evening, Chair.
Good
Commissioner.
afternoon.
Good afternoon. Address 1292 Northwest 79th Street, apartment 108. Chairman of the Model City Advisory Board, we meet tonight. Former state rep. And I also come here today. I'm upset because we all volunteer a lot of time, no pay, and to not get services from PHCD, from MD, nor CAA. Our community is the worst of the worst, the Model City area, 7.3 square miles. It's almost living in a third world neighborhood, not the country, but the neighborhood. I was happy to hear that Chief Jimmy Morales is now over public housing and community development. We might have some hope. But as now, we don't have parks and recreation. We don't have housing properly. You know, it's always, oh, we tearing down the ghetto and we bringing new stuff to you, but we don't get to live in them. You know, we replacing one for one, but you add 700 more units on top of what we already had in the poverty. And I'm, as the chair of the Model City, asking the chair of this committee to have Chief Jimmy Morales, to have that round table with this community, because the pot is already boiled over. The water is touching the flames, and I don't want to see it pop off. I want to see our community grow. I don't want to go to Georgia. I was born and raised in Liberty City. Help us, Commissioner Bastine. I'm reaching out. I'm begging that we have these meetings, because I don't see us living in our neighborhoods no more. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hardeman.
Madam Chair, through the
Chief
chair.
Morales, do you want to say something?
I just, I'm flattered by his comments. I'm not sure I'm deserving of it, but I'm certainly happy. We've heard from 3 different communities, Liberty Square and the others, and I'm more than happy to, with staff, go out and have some community meetings and listen to what's going on out there. And when people come here and make these comments, it's obviously something that's really on their mind and impacting their lives. So we need to go take a look.
Thank you so much, sir. Once more, I'm calling Miss Tina Jacobs. Is she back? Okay. All right. Is there anyone else who wish to speak that I didn't call? If not, please come forward, state your name and address for the records, and you have 2 minutes.
Good morning, I'm Madam Renita Holmes, Executive Director and Volunteer Wave of Women, which was the first CBO in public housing, first business in Section 3 in public housing. My address is listed with the clerk's office for vowel reasons.
Yeah, Madam.
Yes, yes.
I want to
Madam.
make sure that you're speaking at the...
Actually, I was the first one down here. I came to
No.
public safety meeting,
No,
but
because you also signed for the public hearing.
yes, I did for that too. So,
Okay, so you're also speaking for the public hearing.
okay, that could be,
You,
yeah.
or I'm asking
And
you.
yeah, just want to put some things on the record.
Okay. All right.
I'm here too today because I'm distraught. I don't call myself a victim. I'm a survivor. As an advocate that's going through that, rest in peace, Dwight Wells. But people that we saw the commission, well, listen, we all know the disparity of African American and black women in public housing. And I have to say black women, African American women in public housing, it's been identified by the Black Affairs Advisory Board. We had a status women 6 years ago. People not serving restraining orders, the lack of public safety. But I don't want to miss the opportunity to tell you what it's like to be out there as a person with disability and a senior with a VAWA, with a restraining order, and having to move 5 times with mold disease. I'm dealing with systemic issues because I'm living in places that are inspected that have conditions of mold, would have cost about the minimum of $250 a piece to prove it. In the meantime, I'm homeless. I'm having monies given to me and taken away, and now there are no monies. I'm distraught about it. I've had people banging on my door saying, you talk too much. The retaliation, intimidation, harassment that's allowed to go to residents and strong women leadership has to stop. So where is the police? Who's the popo? Maybe because it's crossed up with the city, and to me, the city has no leadership. District 5 and District 2 really ought to take a look because women are being hurt. Me, I'm gonna fight back. But it's very difficult when you're a senior and you're a person with disability, or when you come to tell staff. And since then, I've sat with your past directors. I've got hope for Nathan and O because I know they've been great people when you reach out to them, courteous, professional, and seeking excellence. But I don't see that. I don't see the promises made to residents. I don't see Section 3, don't see 924 CFR. Some of us are smarter than the constitutional staff now. I won't say smarter, but more educated on what was promised and what has yet to come. We're still paying HUD back. But the protection, the decent, the safety, and housing needs a big check. And Wave of Women would like you to sit down and have another status check. I'll get into details later, but please protect me and my children.
Thank you. And then before you go, Madam, I'd like to acknowledge
Yes, ma'am.
the death of community activist Dwight,
A good man.
Wells, who was gunned down.
Good man.
Yeah, he spent his life fighting against gun violence. He was gunned down. So
Yes, ma'am. We'd like to invite you to the next one. It's just tonight at 7 p.m. if you like. But we'll look at the children. The
Thank
children
you.
are shaky.
Thank
So
you.
thank you for acknowledging that, madam.
our deepest sympathies to Dwight
Appreciate
Wells
it and his family. Thank you
to
so
you
much.
too, because I know that he was a very active member of your community.
The commissioner, and I don't mean no disrespect, but not one citizen in Liberty City should be afraid to come out and play dominoes or make a statement about their freedom of speech. What's
Thank you.
going on?
Thank you,
Thank
Madam.
you.
Thank you. Mr. Theophilus, I'd like to inform you, as you know, that you also signed for the public hearing. Now, do you wish to speak now, or do you wish to speak on the public hearing item?
Well, I do this one here. I do it self. How about that?
What is it?
I want to speak on self.
On self?
Yeah.
What does it mean?
I'm going to speak on public housing.
You'd like to speak on
Okay.
both?
Yeah. I'm just going to make it short. I'm just going to tell you how I feel.
All right. Start by stating your name and your address for the record.
Theophilus Williams, 1391 Northwest 95th Street. I lived in public housing. It's not the same as I lived there. It's worse. And I'm listening to a lot of my senior citizens can't move in a decent area, but they promised them there's something wrong in public housing. Offer the time y'all give contractors and developments to come and build, but we're not part of that committee. They put it together and then they come to us later. Then they want us to work with them. We're not that slave no more. We are people who pay tax. And it's a shame that we not getting what we want in our community. You got the CAR, it's a joke. Okay? Everybody come to a meeting to tell you what they build. Contract to holding meetings without the resident being there. I've been to them at Cola Lakes, telling you how they're going to develop it. My question to y'all, District 2 should have their own CAR. If North Miami is their own district, they should have their own. I want to know if both, how we combine our CAR with two developments. When I read the article that they was in trouble with money, not Dade County. We got a problem. We got road problems in our district. We got everything. I got garbage on the bus bench right now. Can't be picked up. And y'all got contractors? Ain't doing their work? This is what they do to our community. Senior citizen outrageous about what's going on. It took them 15 years to put speed bumps in that district without me speaking. I'm speaking for the senior citizen. I will not lay down for people who can't speak. I will stand up for our senior citizen.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Is there anyone else? Seeing no one walking to the podium, public hearing is now closed. Mr. Attorney, Madam Attorney, today, any changes in the agenda?
No changes, Madam Chair. A motion to set the agenda is in order.
All right, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No. Does any one of my colleagues wish to bifurcate any of the items?
Yes, Madam Chair. I just had a comment, question to staff about 2A and a potential change to 2C.
You are recognized, ma'am.
Oh, cool, perfect. Do you want to just take them on, or do you want to do the rest of them?
Yes,
and
so
then
hold on, yeah. So 2 and then anyone else?
2A and 2C.
Anyone else?
I'm happy to move the
Okay.
rest of them.
All right, second, all in favor of moving the balance of the agenda? Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
With the exception of the public hearing
Yeah,
item.
of course, yes. Okay. All right, now, we're getting to the public hearing, Madam Attorney?
Yes, you can open reasonable opportunity for public hearing.
All right, so I have a few cards.
Sorry. May I read the title?
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Item 1G1, resolution retroactively approving after public hearing the county mayor or mayor's designee's action in applying for additional funds for fiscal year 2021 Home American Rescue Plan funding from the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development in the amount of $26,578. Completing forms, required materials to receive such funds, executing grant agreements between Miami-Dade County and HUD, and receiving such grant funds, and authorizing the county mayor or mayor's designee to expend such grant funds, execute other necessary documents required by HUD to expend such funds or additional funds, and exercise the provisions contained in any such agreements, including termination and amendment provisions contained therein. Thank you.
Thank you. Now I have some cards, but these are the same people who spoke earlier. Now, my question to you is, do you wish to speak on 1G1? Madam Holmes? Please approach.
Madam Renita Holmes again, not to be redundant, but in regards specifically to 1G1 and the grant monies. We have tons of federal funds and state funds. All should be adhering to the code, 924.CFR and Section 3, and a few others. But I'd like to request an audit on this one. We got so much funds that we're recapturing and so much funds to be given to home and rescue is a big agenda today. So I'd like to ask for an audit of that. I'd like you to actually see how much is spent on administration, what is the limitation of it, and why the people aren't getting it. Is it going to be recaptured again, and then a portion of that given and more administration taken out of it? Patterns and trends that cause injustice, economic injustice, social injustice, and definitely not safety. So I don't know who you're going to rescue, but rescue us by first stopping the leak. We're bleeding federal funds, which is specifically guaranteed to help women, help seniors, and help persons with disability. Why? The fact remains that we were under audit at one time and we were given a memorandum or a mandate to pay some of it back. Let's not keep making that mistake of spending poor people's dollars ineffectively and spending the majority of it on administration when we know we've passed that administration limitation in the first place. I try not to make comments about things that I have not studied, that I have not requested public information from, public information that I've requested that I haven't gotten, meetings that I've tried to attend, but that's not my job. But I'm asking you to do yours and look specifically at how we in the last 20 years have spent public funds for people that have not gotten it, and now we have to figure on developers who get land for much more than what it is. It just seems like we'll be going through another budget hearing like that again. Audit that money when it gets here. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam. Thank you. Ms. Frazier, you also signed for 1G1. Did you want to speak on the item? All right, on 1G1. State your name again. Pardon me.
Once again, my name is Sharon Frazier. I live at 6516 Northwest 12th Avenue, Miami, Florida, Liberty Square Housing. I'm looking at the big word called HUD, and also the county asking for additional funds from HUD for these developments. Commissioner McGee, I'm not against I see that's your agenda item, and I support you wholeheartedly because you are a man for the people. But it hurts me when HUD send down money in my community, thousands, millions, it's not nickels and dimes, this is millions and millions of dollars. The lady who went out the door, Miss Thina, her grandmother was Thina Crowder. Miss Thina told me that in the car. I didn't even know that her grandmother was Thina Crowder. A couple of years ago, while I was doing nursing, I took care of Lenore B. Smith, an educator. So Thina, who lives in a public HUD, we know it's a RAD program, but we know HUD sent the money down to you guys are the gatekeepers. HUD sent the money down to you guys to disseminate our money for fair housing, equal housing, affordable housing. But it also say, do not put us in, I feel like I'm in a prison now over at Liberty Square. So HUD is watching us. Maybe the governor need to come down and do a walk around with us and the chief financial officer for the state of Florida, because something is absolutely wrong. HUD, we need you. We need y'all to make sure y'all allocate these funds. How can you build a new housing development, Mr. Milo, and you ain't taking care of the ones that you got? Phase 1, 2, 3, 4, and we just have 4 phases, and they leaking roof already. Phase 1, 2, 3, I live in 3, building 2. And phase 4 is over there complaining, and they just got up about a year ago. So HUD, please come and check on, and you guys need to come out. The housing community, the housing committee, y'all need to come out, because somebody's taking our money. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Frazier, right on time. And I also have Ms. Caroline Umobet. Ma'am, did you want to speak? Did you wish to speak on 1G1? Okay.
My name is Carolyn Umobit, once again. I want to mention about the resident council board, that there is none, and if it is one, how can they accommodate everyone that was on the board prior to get a chance to have a choice of getting in the board this time? All the meetings are held without no knowledge. There's no correspondence that goes out. No one tells me anything. So it's like, I really would like for someone to come in and actually see what's going on in the office and see if we're getting the proper treatment prior to, relating to all of the activities and all of the things that come through the neighborhood. We don't know anything about it till later. So I would just like for somebody to come in and check that office.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chief, can someone get her information to follow up with her, please? Mr. Theophilus Williams.
Theophilus Williams, 1391 Northwest 95th Street. I know HUD and Congresswoman gave $40 million to housing. Something is wrong. I don't know where this money went at, but we always hold us accountable for the appropriate inappropriate funds, it's just something wrong. When they say the house of lies, I don't see them go to prison, and I don't see them have to pay a fine. Something is wrong in this county right now. Because when I see my people getting put out and others coming in, and I'm hoping there don't be no retaliation against those who spoke against Liberty Square, because I know one thing, if you speak against them, they coming after you. And it's the way they come after you. They either raise the rent or use the background against you. It's something, this whole area is messed up. I don't know who the leader, who the gangsters is, but they need to stop. Because we, at the end of the day, people are hurting. People in too much shelter. We don't have nothing to call our own, but we paying the tax. But people coming from all over the world to run this county, we paying their salary. It's sad, very sad. And you wonder why gun violence is going on? They don't have nowhere to sleep. They're restless. How many times y'all get a list of how many people in shelters right now? And it's only getting worse. It's getting worse because every development come, or we're going to knock down a place, we're not going to move it, we're going to put it in there. But it's high rent. But we on low income. Something need to be did. Either the governor and them need to come and do an investigation or talk to us as a resident.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. I'm calling for the last time, Miss Tina Jacobs. Is she still outside? Okay. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak on 1G1? Seeing no one approaching, I'm going to close reasonable opportunity.
I'm going to say something. Again, this is Paulette Darrow, address 2422.
Ma'am, are you speaking on 1G1?
Yeah, 1G1.
All right.
About the funding.
Go ahead.
Because I sit on the Community Action Agency Committee for Attapata. And I remember when they needed funding, they came to us. And we signed those papers, but they're correct. What in the 7 days are they doing with these funding? When it comes to our community, we are excluded. Because again, like I said, I reside in Gwen Cherry. And I try to do my best to go out in the community and educate the citizens. Again, in 2010, the Citizen Council Committee, I went out and made my own flyer. And I go out and try to talk to the citizens. Here they are again. We are volunteering our time to make sure the community looks like a community. But then they retaliate on us. This is why they always retaliate on me. But I hold on to my mustard seed faith. And I talk to God. And that's what keeps me going. Although I have a medical condition, I'm not going to lay down and die like that because I have to talk to Christ Jesus. God see it, but it has to stop. You get the money. But hey, what you doing with the money? Hey, HUD talked to me too in 2011, and he said, Ms. Darrow, you should not have no more problem because I did file my complaint. But this one coming up, I'm sorry. You held accountable. Love you. God do too. Peace.
Thank you, Ms. Darrow. Thank you. Anyone else? Now, reasonable opportunity is now closed. Madam Attorney.
At the discretion of the chair to consider the 1G1?
I'm happy to move 1G1.
All right.
It's extra money, correct?
Yes,
They
extra
just-
money.
All right.
Yes, extra money, so.
That's always helpful to build housing, so.
Exactly.
Good.
Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Commissioner Higgins, Commissioner McGee, Commissioner Regalado, Vice Chairman Gonzalez,
4.
Chairwoman Bastien.
Yes,
Motion passes unanimously.
thank you. Now we're gonna go on the items that were bifurcated. Madam Regalado, you are recognized.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So on 2A, I just have some questions for Nathan, because I know we've talked about the surtax. And we've had programming, the condo for the surtax, like we have a lot of surtax programming. And I know that we've also had a reduction in sales. Because we have a list here of who applied, but it doesn't say the districts. And I don't think, a lot of people haven't applied because they know that there's no surtax money and they've been told that there's no surtax money. It's a thing. It's a thing. So if you could tell us what's the state of the surtax for this particular, bucket, and should people apply? Is it going to be available?
Yes, Commissioner. Nathan Cogan, Housing and Community Development. So there's a current RFA that was released several months ago. We're in the process of scoring it. We have several in the 30s, 40 applications. It's for this year's tranche of surtax dollars. What this resolution is asking for us to do is to report on a 2023 RFA that was released. And that RFA was for, at the time, applications that didn't meet the minimum thresholds were given a courtesy to continue working through a process for a period of time. So this resolution is asking us to report on that 2023 tranche. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, again, I rather deal with the folks that qualify and are interested in the money now. So if there is going to be money now and there's an application now, I understand you're asking for a report on what happened to these 2023, but because I remember we awarded in 2023, so these were the guys that fell out in 2023, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so we're asking, and again, I'm not against asking for the folks that fell out in 2023, but as we move into new projects and we have another group of folks applying, I just want to prioritize the folks that meet the requirements. I mean, I'm happy to look at people fell out if there's extra money, but my understanding is that we've seen a reduction in surtax funding.
So for this year's tranche, we have a certain amount that's set aside, and this tranche here, should there be awards, won't affect this year's funding for these applications.
Okay, all right. Well, if you could take a friendly amendment and add, the folks that are applying today, who's applying and just a breakdown of it. I think it's just important for everyone to know how much funding we're talking about. And then what districts, I think it's always useful to put the districts. The other thing that's interesting about this list, and I know that Commissioner Higgins has talked about this before, whenever we look at the allocations, there really should be a correlation between allocation and unit numbers. And there's a tremendous amount of disparity there, some people are really building a lot. The fact that you have someone that's building 5 units, compared to someone's building 270 units, right? That's a big difference. It's a big difference. I really think that we should be focusing on getting as much bang for our buck. I know that we have these smaller, these smaller developments, but at the same time, I think that we should prioritize these. If you tell me we have plenty of money and everyone's going to be fine, then so be it. But if that's not the case, then I think the board should at least consider prioritizing them.
Understood.
Thank you.
Madam Chair?
Thank you, Commissioner. Yes.
Yeah, look, I'll take that amendment because definitely want to know what's going on with this year. But just to clarify, and I think the director did a great job in explaining what the amendment does. What the resolution does, but really just want to see a report. I know that you remember that in 2024, we approved for those 2023 funds to be used for, it was 12 projects, and then it was another 12 projects. 12 of those projects didn't meet certain requirements, but we gave them time in order to get to meet those requirements. I just want to know where those 12 are at, right? I just want to report as to where they're at. Are they in compliance? Are we moving forward to make sure those dollars are being properly used? And if they're not, what do we have to do to make sure that we can help you folks move it forward?
Absolutely, and I can say that staff has been working with those groups to get to compliance, and we will be able to report very accurately based upon your requests.
Thank you so much, Director. And so I'll take the amendment, and with that, I'll move it.
Okay, do we have a second? Oh, okay, Commissioner Higgins?
Yeah, I just have one comment, just to build upon what you all both were talking about. I think it's important that we do a cost per unit or investment per unit because, the two that are the wildest, are both $5 million was the recommended amount. One is building 39 units, so that's like $130,000 a unit. And the other for the same investment is building 270 units, which is more like $18,000 a unit. And that is a big difference. And I realize that sometimes these larger units come in neighborhoods that have that allow a little more density and are more appropriate for density. But I do think we need to be, how everybody agrees, housing, number one issue we need to be working on. So if you could, maybe next time you do something like this, just make sure it's a cost per unit. I would appreciate that. Thank you. And I'm happy to second the motion.
Thank you, Commissioner. So it's been moved and second. Is there anyone else?
Through the chair.
As amended, yes.
Just to restate the amendment, it's to ask for an update on the applications for this year's and a breakdown by commission district.
For these to be broken down by commission district and then for an update on the application for this year.
Thank you.
That's in addition to the 2024 report.
Understood.
And if
Thank you.
we add- sorry, I have to interject.
Excuse me, Nathan.
I apologize.
So you'd like to add something else?
Yes, through the chair.
Okay, go ahead.
Just to be cognizant, we are going through a solicitation, so I just want to be cognizant of the cone on what we can or can't report. That's all.
Right, to the extent legally allowable.
Yeah, it's really about availability, Madam Chair.
All right. Thank you so much. You okay? You're okay. All right. So it's been moved and seconded. So do we, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Any opposed? No.
Thank
Have 2C.
Yeah, 2C, and again, I don't, we could have a whole meeting just on infill properties. My only question on this one is, there's been a lot of talk on this board about home ownership, and as you know, that's very, very expensive in this county. It's a very, very heavy lift, and speaking of return for investment, I mean, when we look at investing $350,000, $450,000 into like a single family home, that then remains affordable for 10 years, I'm not a fan of that. I think that our funding could be better used to do more units, and provide people more affordability. That being said, this one brought up a very interesting point because, and again, Nathan, we have limited home ownership buckets. And I remember Commissioner Gonzalez brought an item a while back, and one of the things that I added to it is that we should be considering using this money for duplexes and triplexes and quads, because really that's where people could make an impact, right? Because they could use our money to buy a duplex, a triplex, or a quad, and then we could require that they rent the other units at a lower price point, right? So in terms of like bang for your buck, that's really where you could get it. And I don't know if we've moved forward on that. But on this one, I think it's interesting that if I don't think we have a rule on it, but I think that Commissioner McGee should consider it. If the money that we have for home ownership, if we're going to use it for that, which I think we should reallocate some of that money to other stuff, a conversation for another day. But if we're going to use it, it should be prioritized for county lots. It should not be just thrown around the county, right? So if we have infill properties that we are going to be developing for home ownership, those should get priority over other stuff. Because it appears like everybody's talking about home ownership and they're like throwing it around on Instagram and there's like all this stuff, like come apply at the county. First of all, it's not that much money. Second of all, the application is a complicated one. But if we're going to be doing infill and investing in infill for home ownership, it would make more sense to prioritize this bucket of properties instead of just random home ownership by developer XYZ. Yeah. So, I mean, Nathan, I don't think we have ever taken a position on that. I think it's just been like a free-for-all, right? So, Commissioner McGee, I just wanted you to consider that. I don't have infill.
You have a question? You said you had a question.
Yeah. My question is, on this one, could we prioritize it? Could we amend it to prioritize? Because this particular item we're giving them an extension, so be it. Infill gets extensions all the time. But we're saying some of them are home ownership and some of them are rentals, right? On the ones that are home ownership, I think that those should be prioritized for our homeownership bucket, because we know that we have money there. And before that is siphoned by some developer that's building something somewhere, who knows where, I think that it should be prioritized for our properties, because then, how do we ensure that we're going to have enough money to do that when all is said and done? So, I mean, that's my question, Nathan. I don't think we don't have that right now, right? We don't have priority.
Commissioner, excuse me. Commissioner, are you asking?
I'm asking Nathan if we have the priority, and then Commissioner McGee what he thinks. But I don't think we have that. I think we're just.
Yep, okay. Your question is good to Commissioner McGee. Will you,
Happy-
Vice
happy-
Chair,
Yeah.
Vice Chairman McGee,
Yeah.
Vice Chairman McGee, can you let him respond first?
Sure.
And then we'll go back to Nathan.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Commissioner Regalado, for the great question and the great conversation. I would rather just move this the way it is. The developers with these particular sites have already gone through the funding process with their lenders. Also, it upset the apple cart as it relates to funding. I can bring forth another item later on, and I'll ask the county attorney to help me draft something that fits exactly the conversation we're having now for future projects down the road.
Sure. I mean, I don't think our department works that way. So, and I don't think it would impact funding. I mean, we're actually helping them. We're saying that they're going to be prioritized, but your call. If you want to do it in another item, that's fine.
Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Chair, did you have something else?
Just move it.
to add? All right. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Item passed. Madam Attorney, anything else?
I have something.
You have something, Vice Chair
Just
McGee?
take a point of personal privilege to
Go
make some
ahead.
remarks.
You're recognized.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. And, Madam Chair, sitting here this afternoon, I heard the voices of those who are currently living in public housing. And my remarks to them are very simple. As a matter of fact, when many of you opened your mouth, it left me in a position where my mind regressed to the point where we were living in public housing in the Modella housing projects. And that's where I was born and raised. After living in the Modella housing projects, my mom moved us over to the Naranja housing projects. And after we lived in the Naranja housing projects, we would then frequent our family members' homes that were located in the Arthur Mays housing projects in Goose. And in the process of going between Naranja housing projects and Arthur Mays housing projects, we spent a lot of time at the Pine Islands 1 and 2 housing projects. I bring that up because the housing projects, i.e. the slang used to describe a place where individuals who have low income and have essentially been pushed out of society's conversation about generational wealth, it's very personal to me because these are the places where we would call our abode, a place where we would live, we sleep, and we would learn life lessons. And so when I heard the conversation today, the thing that came to my mind, Madam Chair, was that these individuals who spoke today, they were not complaining. You see, when they speak, they are not complaining. They're making observations. They're pointing out what they live every single day. The cracks in the system, the corners where hope gets lost. But too often, instead of hearing the truth, we punish it with silence. We push their pain aside, and we call it politics. We treat their observations as noise. And when in fact, Madam Chair, they are the most honest mirrors we have of who we are. See, when you've lived without enough, you learn to see what others overlook. You see where opportunity stops showing up. You see where fairness starts to fade. And when they speak, Madam Chair, we should not respond with inaction, because inaction is its own kind of violence. It tells the poor child, the single mother, the struggling neighbor, that their reality isn't urgent enough to fix. But it is. It is. Their voices aren't burdens. They're a blueprint for what must change if we're ever going to build a nation that works for everyone, not just the fortunate few. I just hope, based on this conversation today, a flame is thrown on the inadequate resources that have been thrown at this issue. These people, these voices you've heard today are not people who simply show up one day to discuss what's happening in their communities. This has been going on for decades, generation after generation. And when people come and they speak at this podium, they're not running for political office. They're not looking for a handout. They're simply making an observation saying, we need a partnership here. And if we're really serious about changing the dynamics of this county, their voices have to be part of the discussion at this table. And Commissioner Higgins, I've sat on this board, and this is why I respect you so much, because you're always reminding us about keeping voices at the table and knowing that every voice counts. And so when I hear these individuals speak, hell, they're telling my story. And it's difficult for me to sit here and pretend as if I don't hear it, because the same damn conversations they're having now, it's the same conversation my mom had with public housing when we were in public housing. So the dead bodies they're talking about, I've witnessed these bodies in the parking lots. The mold in the ceiling, I know all too well because my family members suffered from lung issues because of the mold. When they talk about the lights not working properly, I know they're telling the truth, because oftentimes that's where the shooters and killers and people who want to bring harm to those communities, that's where they hide, where there is no proper lighting. And when they speak in terms of talking about generational wealth and developers coming into their communities, they're telling the truth, because the fact of the matter is, the more apartments you build in a community, that money is not trapped in that community. That money is extricated out of that community, put into a bucket, put into a trust fund, given to someone else, and they put that money into their pocket to create generational wealth for their families. So if we're having an honest conversation, I have to speak on behalf of the people who are having an honest conversation. And the people who are having an honest conversation are the damn people who are sitting here at the podium telling us what they're seeing. But too often we get to the point where we discount what they're saying. I don't know, it's because whether they dress a certain way, they speak a certain way, they walk a certain way, they take certain transportation, but whatever it is, they should not be discounted because of what we observe not to be akin to how we see life. I was fortunate. But Tim, who was killed, and I had to stand over his body, wasn't, and the Naranja housing projects wasn't. Horace, who was my neighbor in the Naranja housing project at address 29020 Southwest 139th Avenue, he wasn't too lucky. The young lady who had to go out every night and engage in activities that were not considered to be legal, who ended up getting found guilty of activities and had to be sentenced to 10 to 15 years in prison, leaving my friends back home to defend for themselves because their mothers were trapped behind bars and a criminal justice system that hit them on drug charges. They weren't too lucky. Or the kid who drowned across the street in the canal right across the street from the Naranja housing projects, and I'm sitting there watching it. He wasn't lucky. My little cousin who was gunned down in the Naranja housing projects with the AK-47, he wasn't too lucky. While at the same time, the same developers we're giving these benefits to, they come in, and as a matter of fact, we heard from this podium, they do punish these people when they speak. It's not one developer, it's not two developers. All these people who come to the table and ask us for assistance, they have to be able to articulate better how they're going to help people get to the next level. Are all developers bad? No. Are there great developers out there who are building some great products and I would love to partner up with? Absolutely. Are there great developers in District 1, 2, 5, 9, and all the districts up here? Absolutely. There are some great products in Liberty City and Naranja and Goose and Modella? Absolutely. I want those developers because they understand the plight of these people. But then there are some developers out there who are actually going against the grain of the American system and robbing these people from their dignity and treat them as if they are trash. And then they ask for more sales tax and more surtax dollars. And then they ask these people to sign these documents. And when these people sign these documents, you know what ended up happening? Never again those conversations are going to happen with the same people. Why? Because the people who got the money, they're gone and they got what they needed. And you know what else they do? When they're sick and tired of people complaining about them, they bring forth their management companies. And these management companies now serve as a buffer between the owner and the people. The owner now removes himself or herself from the equation and puts everything on the management company. The management company then does all the bad stuff that needs to be done, and then the people now have to complain to the management company, and hell, the management company doesn't represent or even understand what was the conversation that was had between the owner and the actual resident of the units. So am I pissed? No. Am I frustrated? No. I'm doing exactly what everyone else did from that podium. I'm just making an observation. And unfortunately, that observation may not sit well with some. But quite frankly, I don't care. You know why? Because I'm true to this. I'm true to making sure so long as I breathe, no kid would have to see what I've seen. And no kid would have to go to bed hungry. And no kid would have to ask the question to his mom because his dad was forced to get out of the housing project because he couldn't be on the lease. Because the system was set up to say that you cannot have a two-parent household inside of a housing project. I know that too well because it happened to me. My mom was told my dad couldn't live in the house. So when they speak, hell yeah, I listen. I go in for them because I know they speak not just for the rich, but God, they're speaking for the American experience. And just for y'all don't know, America is not simply a geographical location. It is an experience. It is an experience. And they too should be at the table of this experience. And I'll close by saying this, Madam Chair. I stood over the body of a young man. I think I had to be about 10. He's a very close friend of mine. And I didn't get any trauma assistance after witnessing and touching a dead body in front of me. So that stuff is with me. The trauma for me, it was overwhelming. But they didn't provide the help, the assistance. But you know where we got our help and our assistance from? People who we have called OGs of our communities. People who are called our pastors, our spiritual leaders. People who we call people who've witnessed and gone through what we've gone through. And this is what they all told me if we were to collectively look at their stories and look at what they're saying. If you're not at the table, then you're on the menu. And the people of Miami-Dade County who are living in public housing have been on this damn menu too long. And it's time for us to really examine what's causing this. And I do not believe this administration is going to allow for them to suffer any longer. We have a mayor who loves what she does, and she's a social worker at heart. And before she became mayor, she did these things to help the quality of life of these people. That's how much trust and faith I have. I have faith and trust in these colleagues of mine, ones I love and I know will go to the end to fight for all of us. But what I can tell you is, I don't think any of us should sit on the sideline for this fight. This is a fight I'm prepared to take on head on. This is the one where I put the flag in the ground. And if we have to go in and do things differently in order to help these people for the next generation and create generational wealth, I think we do that. And I think what you all need to start pushing for is no more apartments in your areas. I think you should push for more home ownership. And I think you should push more for home ownership because that's where the generational wealth starts. Because I can tell you right now, when the folk jumped on that Mayflower and came to this country, they said they came to this country because they wanted to get away from political prosecution and religious prosecution. It may have been true in part, but what about the other part? Those on the Mayflower when they arrived here, political prosecution may have been part of the conversation. But make no mistake about it, the first thing they got when they came to this country, they grabbed the land. They grabbed the dirt. And in the dirt, we've seen generations, wealth, we've seen quality of life increase, and quite naturally and quite honestly, we've seen where true justice lies, in the dirt. Give these people an opportunity to plant their family seed in the dirt through home ownership, and you will change an entire community. Because the truth of the matter is, if your credit score is beneath a 580, your life expectancy decreases. And where you have life expectancy decreasing, then you have an uptick in kids who are growing up alone and not understanding the system. So before we make any observations about the very people who came to this podium to speak, maybe we should listen to what they're saying. Because what they're saying is they want the same thing was given to the folk who jumped off the Mayflower and came to this country. They want dirt. And in the dirt is where everything begins. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Vice Chair McGee. I heard you with a lot of attention. I did read your books, so I understand where you're coming from, Vice Chair McGee. And to the residents who came, I mean, we're still here to speak to us today, I hear you. Just like Vice Chairman McGee, I heard something that really concerned me, the fact that you are expecting retaliation for coming to speak to us here. I'm gravely concerned about that. So Chief Morales, Nathan, they've invited us to go and see for ourselves and be witness of what they're going through. As chair of housing, this is something I'm going to take on. And Vice Chairman McGee, I know that you'd be interested to come. And then whomever, any other commissioner commissioners who wish to come and to see this, and I agree with you, Vice Chair, we cannot remain silent anymore, especially in light of what we heard today. And I want to make sure that I thank you again, because almost every committee meeting, housing committee meeting, you're here to make your voices heard. And then I want to say that I heard you and I see you. And then I'm looking forward to come and see Ms. Darrow. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you. Now, before we moving further, I'd like to bring something up about the time, changing the time. Today, most of us had 3 different meetings. One was at 9 a.m., one was at 11, and then we had to wait until 2 p.m. For this meeting. I'd like to hear from my colleagues, Vice Chairman McGee, Commissioner Regalado, how would you feel to move the Housing Committee to 1 p.m. instead of 2?
I'm fine with that. I think the chair needs to do it, but
I know, but I want to hear from you first.
I'm fine with it.
Vice Chairman McGee? All right, so we'll bring it to the chair, and hopefully instead of 2, we can bring this, take this meeting at 1 p.m. Madam Attorney, is there anything else?
Nothing else, Madam Chair.
but
To adjourn.
motion to adjourn. Do I have a second? Yes. Thank you all.